Well, it's because you guys are out there lying about it. In addition to this being the Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies, the Limbaugh Institute for Sexual Research. Today, folks, do you realize that you can get in Washington, D.C., if you ask the Department of Health there, they will send you free condoms. They will send you free condoms. You don't have to go to Nancy Pelosi and ask for thousands of dollars in free birth control pills. And they'll even throw in the lube. So we're going to sit here, if we're going to have to pay for this, then we want something in return, Ms. Fluke. And that would be the videos of all this sex posted online so we can see what we are getting for our money. Now, let's go to the audio sound bites. Let's listen to the congressional reaction to this, because they are fit to be tied. They want me drawn and quartered. First up is Barbara Boxer. Last night on Politics Nation, that's Reverend Sharpton's show. And Sharpton said, what do you make of this poison atmosphere? Like, what do you make of these statements today by Rush Limbaugh?
Rush Limbaugh has insulted and hurt every woman in America. 99% of women have used some form of birth control in her lifetime. So he has now said we're all just terrible human beings. And if I was a woman who listened to Rush Limbaugh, I would turn off that, I would turn him out of my life, because I think people will be disgusted by what he said, truly.
Well, what did I say? I said, if we're paying for this, it makes these women sluts, prostitutes. And what else could it be if we are buying it? There's a couple of stories here. This fundraising email for the Democrat Congressional Campaign Committee. I got it right here. And they got a picture of me that makes me, look, here, I'm going to zoom in on this. It's a small picture. I'm going to zoom in it. On the Ditto Cam, I'm zooming right now. I just don't want you to watch the zoom take place. I'm doing this while also speaking to you and not losing a syllable or a thought. Okay, let me see. I can zoom in a little tighter. That's it. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. That's the picture of me that they they have posted on their. Does that not look like Nosferatu? I look like Klaus Kinski in the movie Nosferatu. Okay, that's that. I'm a zoom back out now and get the Ditto Cam at its, if it'll work, there we go, at its normal frame. 3, 2, 1, there we go. Okay, let me read the letter to you. What does it say about the college co-ed Susan Fluke, who goes before a congressional committee and essentially says that she must be paid to have sex? What does that make her? It makes her slut, right? Makes her a prostitute. Well, I am absolutely repulsed right now. Susan Fluke, the courageous Georgetown law student, had the strength to stand up in Congress against Republican attacks on birth control, is now under attack from the right wing. First, House Republicans refused to let her testify. Now they think they can shame us into silence. And they go on to ask for money. Defeat anti-women Republicans. Contribute deadline midnight tonight. And it's just hilarious. What I want to know, who bought, Ms. Fluke, who bought your condoms in junior high? Who bought your condoms in the 6th grade? Or your contraception? Who bought your contraceptive pills in high school? Wouldn't you be just as likely to go broke in high school and junior high as you would be in college? Who paid for them then? Ms. Fluke, because of Obamacare, you are still on your parents' insurance coverage. Why don't your parents' policy provide your contraceptions? Why do we have to? You're still a child, according to Obamacare. Of course, the rest of us have had it confirmed. Al Sharpton, when he heard what I said, he said, resist we much. Sharpton was unaware. What did Lombard say? He said, resist we much. Here's Frank the Lautenberg. He was on the Senate floor this morning.
Yesterday, we heard something astounding. Came from Rush Limbaugh, who's a prime voice of modern conservatism in this country. What he said yesterday, and I had it checked because I wanted to be sure that I'm not misquoting anything, said a woman who wants affordable birth control is, and I quote him here, a prostitute. Talking about your wife, your sister, your daughter, your child. Hateful, ugly language, and we condemn it.
Where'd you get it checked? Probably Media Matters, but this is, of course, it's not what I said. He's forgetting the way this whole thing happened. A woman goes up to a congressional committee and says, I'm having sex so damn much, I'm going broke. What the heck is going on here? This is why I tell you it's phony soldiers times 10. And we're not through. Maria Cantwell, senator from Washington, MSNBC Live this morning. The anchor said Rush Limbaugh yesterday squarely aimed his words at Sandra Fluke, questioning her virtue. I'm not questioning her virtue. I know what her virtue is. She's having so much sex that she's going broke. There's no question about her virtue. Rush Limbaugh yesterday squarely aimed his words at Sandra Fluke, questioning her virtue, doing so in a pretty rude manner on the airwaves. How do you feel about her character, her virtue being questioned, and is she being treated like a political football between the Her virtue is not in question. Her virtue being questioned? Who is this anchor, Thomas Roberts? Thomas, do you have any question about her virtue? Is it still an open question to you? Anyways, Maria Cantwell is what she said.
There is no call for those kinds of comments. Those are very inappropriate, and they should be repudiated by lots of people. This is about something that women have fought for and guaranteed the right to get access.
Don't think it's being denied. I don't think there is contraception is not being denied. Access to it, like I tell you, if you're D.C. Department of Health, you call them up, they'll send the stuff to you free. They'll send you condoms free. Well, there we got a soundbite here about that. They're worried about back alley contraception. Here Jackie Spire, Representative Jackie Spire, Democrat, California, this morning on the House floor.
I rise this morning to say to Rush Limbaugh, shame on you. Shame on you for being the hate monger that you are. Shame on you for being misogynistic. Shame on you for calling the women of this country sluts and prostitutes, because that's what he did. 98% of the women in this country at some time in their lives use birth control. And yet he went on the air recently and called Sandra Fluke a slut and a prostitute because she was trying to access birth control pills as a third-year law student at Georgetown. So I say to the women in this country, do something about this. Stop supporting the hate-mongering of Rush Limbaugh.
Right. So, again here, you see how they play this and misrepresent it, but I just find all this hilarious. No, I've already said that. I'd buy all these women aspirins. Put them between their knees, like Andrea Mitchell does. I would do that. Who's next? Sheila Jackson Lee. We have a couple of them here.
On the February 29th show, Mr. Limbaugh repeatedly used sexually charged, offensive, obscene language to malign the character of a courageous young woman, a private citizen.
Courageous. Recue that to the top. Courageous. Having so much sex, she's going broke at Georgetown Law. Gosh, I love this. Pretty soon, we're going to have these women talk about how embarrassing it is to have to go to the pharmacy and not be able to pay for your birth control pills. How embarrassing it is. You can see the embarrassment etched on women's faces at CVS. Oh, it is? It is? Who did? What, cut 5? Where's cut 5? Where's... Oh! Sandra Fluke said it? Oh, no! Oh, no! I gotta hear it. Here, play it.
One told us of how embarrassed and just powerless she felt when she was standing at the pharmacy counter and learned for the first time that contraception was not covered on her insurance, and she had to turn and walk away because she couldn't afford that prescription. Women like her have no choice but to go without contraception. Just last week, a married female student told me that she had to stop using contraception because she and her husband just couldn't fit it into their budget anymore.
Wow! Holy, who paid for the sex and the contraceptions in the back seat of the car? Way back when. So, it's embarrassing to go to the drugstore and not be able to pay and find out that the birth control pills are not covered by the insurance policy. Embarrassment etched all over her face. No, we're missing the point here is stopping, folks, for all the hilarity that's contained. It's not what's going on here. Here's a woman exercising no self-control. The fact that she wants to have repeated, never-ending, as often as she wants it, sex. Given. No question about that. Of course, that's normal. Why, that's just... Who are you, Limbaugh? That's where you been? And from that, we're to pay for it. And if there is any objection to it, then there's racism, bigotry, sexism, misogyny. We got a killer disease out here, apparently. And that is women who can't afford contraception or don't want to pay for it, even though they can't afford it. One more Sheila Jackson Lee, then we'll finish with this.
And so I know that I'm standing here in the face of the fairness doctrine that does not require any media to offer a contravening point. I would commend Rush Limbaugh to invite us on and talk about constructive ways of helping women. I give him every opportunity to have some guests, or we can call in. I don't think that is possible, but I would challenge all the women of the House. Let's try to dial that number.
800-282-2882.